Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of One Piece. Last time on the show, it was more fighting. More fighting. Klahadore arrived and is ready to beat everyone's butt. Um, Luffy's still sleeping for some weird reason. It's and Zolo got into one heck of a power move and did power move stuff. So yeah, the fight is not stopping anytime soon, and I don't know why. So let's get on with the next set, uh, and yeah, let's get reading. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 34, A Humble Servant. The boot of Nami squeezed down into Luffy's face, pressing him into the ground, causing him to wake up in sudden pain. Bam! Hey, dude, I was just sleeping. Why are you waking me up from my nap? To which suddenly a mysterious disc flying towards Nami from behind her continued to whoosh. To it, and Django in the distance screamed out, "I'll split you in two!" Gah! Nami screamed out as she quickly tilted her whole body over. She couldn't. She had very little time to dodge. She was in shock as the spinning disc headed straight for her, ready to derez her like Tron. Usopp quickly grabbed his head in horror. "That's a chakram. It's not just for hypnotizing people. It's to derez you like Tron." Luffy, with his teeth gritted pure anger, looked up at Nami and yelled down, "You creep, dude! Why you making me look up your skirt? Why you have to step on my head and make me look at your skirt, dude?" Unaware of the fact that the whole entire chakram chucked into his brain and blood gushed down, Nami was just horrified. Luffy leaned over, falling headfirst to the ground. Nami didn't have time to react or move. "Ah, Luffy!" Django, watching the whole thing unfold, was shocked. "What? He's still alive?" and and Zolo said, "What lousy timing? Or maybe not so lousy." And all Usopp could do was just stare with his mouth agape as a fly entered his mouth. And a bulging vein popped out of Klahadore. "That lad, I thought he died when he fell off the cliff." Luffy slowly falling down to the ground, gurking his way towards the dirt, gritting his teeth, resisting the pain. Immediately stomped his foot in the ground to prevent himself from falling over, with fist bulging his muscles out, and the chakram still attached to the back of his brain. Django said, "Impossible! He's still standing!" And the whole entire pirate crew just stood in shock. Luffy moved the chakram off of his head. Blood gushed out like a geyser. What blood stained on the edge of the blade slowly dripped. His muscles bulged and veins popped. Nami could only stand in shock as a fly entered her mouth. Zolo smiled. "Looks like." The crowd screamed. Everyone screamed, "Yar!" To which Luffy yelled out with a tear in his eye, "Ow, dude, that total hurt." He rubbed the pain in his back, feeling the wound. He immediately stretched his arms outward, squatting like he was about to take a dump, and yelled out, "Luffy's back in action, dude. That hurt. Now I'm gonna beat each and every one of you up with my million normal punches." Oh, buckets of blood. One of the who's that? Oh. Mm. Buckets of blood. Now what? Yar! We got less than 5 minutes before we get sliced. Luffy clutched the back of his head. Eyes popped down at the popped out at Nami with jagged shark teeth. That really hurt, dude. That was uncool. It wasn't me, Luffy. Nami said with her hands up in horror. She immediately dropped to the ground with blood splurting out of her shoulder, and Luffy calmed down and noticed what had happened. Dude, your shoulder's bleeding. Do you need like a medic or something? Ah, it's nothing. I'm fine, Nami said. I've done all I can. I'm leaving the rest to you before I die. Usopp just stood there with 3 dots for an answer. Nami smiled and looked back at him. After all, this is one fight we gotta win. Nami, dude. There's a whole lot of treasure on the line, Nami said, clenching her fist with determination. And Luffy put his hat back on his head. That's more like you, dude. Same old Nami. Yeah. Righteous. And Luffy stood at the foot of the hill and looked up at everyone. He saw the pirates still laid out. The Django and one of the Cat brothers standing to his left. Solo midway up, holding his swords at the ready. And Klahadore at the top of the hill staring down. Hey, dude, the evil butler is here. What's he want? 3 minutes left before I massacre everyone, Klahadore said, slowly raising his wrist carefully to look at his watch. And the entire pirate screamed out, No! Even Captain Django and Birchie can't stop them in only 3 minutes! Oh my gosh! Solo and Luffy listened to the crowd of pirates panicking as they prepared to take on the next round. Bocchi, there's no time to think. You killed the guy with the dress. Chumburn. Oof. I'll take on the Straw Hat Brat. Oof. And then suddenly, someone was walking from behind Klahadore, caught his attention. Klahadore! Kaya said, Stop! She yelled down, and everyone suddenly looked up the hill right at her. They were horrified at her presence. They couldn't understand why she was so stupid to actually appear there. Usopp screamed out, Kaya! What are you doing here? Hey, isn't that the girl from the mansion? Gemman? And she's our real target. And then the pirates started screaming out as they watched on from behind Luffy. Then we don't need to go sack this village. We just gotta kill the girl right here. What a lovely surprise, Miss Kaya, Klahadore said, fixing his glasses with the palm of his hands, preventing the swords from slicing his face. What brings you here? Nami was in silence. So was the Bucci, and Zolo, and me. Mary told me everything. Mary, he lived. I thought I killed him, Klahadore said with the shadow veiled over his face. Kaya's face poured sweat, and tears began to build up. No, this isn't Klahadore. I'm sorry, Usopp. Usopp listened on. How can you ever forgive me? I was so wrong about you. She lowered her head in shame. I just couldn't believe that Klahadore was a pirate. I thought he only just pirated DVDs, not real piracy. It's okay, Kaya. Why'd you come here? You've got to escape. They're out here to kill you. Usopp yelled out. And Kaya immediately looked to him with tears splashing out of her eyes. But aren't you fighting them? Even though we treated you so horribly? Even though you're bleeding all over? Of course, Usopp said. I'm, I'm a brave warrior of the sea, like, like tuna fish. And Kaya looked right directly at Klahadore and said, if you want my fortune, I'll give it to you. The money ain't worth it. Just take it and leave the village alone. Huh? Klahadore said with three dots. Not enough, Miss Kaya. Yes, I do want your fortune, but I also want peace of mind. I spent 3 years earning the trust of the villagers here. I've grown comfortable. I can even relax. Morning, Cloudor! Cloudor remembered one of the neighbors saying in his flashback. Only when I have that peace of mind and your wealth will my plan have accomplished. Thus, the pirate attack on the village and your accidental demise are both quite essential. Kaya's sweat poured down her face. She couldn't believe what she had heard. She stood frozen, only to hear Usopp yell out, Kaya won! Don't waste your breath on him. He's not the man you knew. And suddenly Kaya pulled out a gun. Wow. Well, that was that got turned dark quick. With the sound of a click, a gun. Kaya drew out a gun and aimed it directly at Klahadore. He stood there silent. Usopp stood silent. Django stood silent. Luffy stood silent. Zolo stood silent. I stood silent. A pistol? One of the pirates yelled out. Leave this village alone, Kaya said, with the gun aimed directly at Klahadore, trying to maintain a steady hand without showing any form of nervousness. You've really grown up in the last 3 years. I did not expect you to join the NRA. And I've been at your side for all the changes, haven't I? I should have paid attention when you were reading those gun book magazines. Even before you lost your parents and became ill, you and I spent a lot of time together. We went sailing together, remember? Clea remembered in her flashback. Took trips into town, she remembered in her flashbacks. When you had a fever, I stayed at your bedside day and night, laughing with you, suffering with you. I was your ever humble servant. I humored it, Miss Kaya, and all your silly dreams. And I endured it with great pain. Kaya shivered with the gun, shivered with the fingers ready to pull the trigger. And Klahadore stared at her with one eye. The shadow veiled over his face. All for today, the day I could kill you. And Kaya went into tears. Usopp's anger bulged with bulging veins, gritting his teeth, not sure what move to make. Villain! I, Klahadore said, who was once the dread Captain Kudo, bowed and scraped to a spoiled little girl, and catered to her every whim day and night. Luffy was unimpressed with his statements. He was ready to throw down. Kaya's tears overwhelmed her. So the shock of what she heard was so great, she lost the grip of her gun, and it fell off her fingertips. Can you fathom my humiliation? Kuro! Run! Usopp lunged at him, gliding across the ground anime style, hand stretched out, fist curled back, ready to throw his first punch. And all Kaya could do was cover her face, her tear-soaked cheeks, saying, Usopp. Klahadore looked back with the corner of his eyes. Usopp, that reminds me. I still owe you for hitting me. And with one swipe... Oh. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Sorry. Claudor takes a T pose at Usopp as Usopp throws his punch. You hit me with all your might. And suddenly, something struck him in the face. It was a long arm, unlike any other, with a fist at the end. What was that? And Captain Kuro fell over with his legs sticking up in the air. Captain Kuro's down! Screamed the pirates. And there was Luffy retracting his fist right back to his body with a big smile on his face, muscles bulging, veins popping, and the biggest smile he ever delivered. Dude, if you don't like getting hit, I'll punch you with 100 more regular punches. Dude. To be continued. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 34. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 35. The Steep Slope. At the bottom of the hill, Luffy took on a JoJo pose, staring up at Klahadore, with a smile on his face, flexing his fist and his muscles. Everyone, all the pirates still laying on the ground, were in absolute shock. Bucci and Django were unmoved, wondering what's going on. What was that? One of the pirates screamed out. That kid, he sent Captain Curl sailing from all the way over here. And at the top of the hill, as Kaya continued weeping from Klahadore's evil and cruel words, and Usopp looking down in horror, was the sound of a grrr, a very loud grrr, as Klahadore lay down on the ground with arms spread out, staring up at the sky, wondering what in the world happened. And he heard the loud ooh. Luffy, at the bottom of the hill, crooked the fingers as he waited for Klahadore to do something. Klahadore stared out with broken glasses, blood dripped out of his mouth, and the sound of ooh rolling through his brain. The pirates below were now shivering in absolute fear. That's Tears it! Captain Curl's really mad. What happened to us? No! And Django immediately shivered in fear. Kaya just stared out, saying, What? Usopp, with his mouth agape as a fly entered in, said, Oh! It was the bratty, the bratty kids showing up with weapons brandished, screaming out, ready to attack Captain Kuro. What's up, pirate crew? Ready for action? Prepare yourself, you smelly butler. Yeah, smelly butler. You guys, what? Usopp screamed out. Kaya immediately yelled out to them, Hey, you kids, you shouldn't be here. Revenge! Revenge! Your pirates have disturbed my village. Take that. And they began pounding onto Captain Kuro's face as he lay there unimpressed by the assault. The pirates down below immediately screamed, Oh, those small fries are battering Captain Kuro. Django was horrified. Usopp screamed out for the kids to get out of there. That's enough, crew. Stop. Solo gritted his teeth. What are those little devils thinking? Ew. Echoed through Kuro's mind as one of the kids looked down the hill and screamed out, Alright, that ought to teach him. Kuro closed his eyes, took a long, deep breath. Just like me. Despite all the beatings he took, there was not a single blemish or wound on him. I knew it. The captain's been fighting. Why didn't you tell us? You smell like sweat. No, he smells like
He's forgotten his faithful crewman.
I don't care what I smell like, Usopp yelled out at the kids. You guys gotta scram now! Beat it! Run for it! As he sat there, for some reason, instead of running at them and scooping them up and running away, the kids yelled back,
No, we're with you. We're gonna fight Captain.
running away will be a disgrace to Usopp's pirate crew. And suddenly, Cloudor stood up behind them in an awesome JoJo pose, and the fixing of his glasses with the palm of his hand. The shards slowly crumpled off the lenses, the frames. The glass of the lens crumpled off the frames, raining down to his feet. The kids immediately screamed with eyes bulging out, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" And to which Usopp yelled at them, "You idiots! Get out of here!" And suddenly, the kid stood still.
Huh? He walked right up by us.
Indeed, he did. He walked right past them. He walked by Kaya quietly. He lifted up his sword claws and peeled off the patch that covered his wound. And he threw a single kick at Usopp. Oof! And sent him tumbling apart down the hill.
Captain!
That smarted a bit, Cloudor said, standing at the top of the hill, towering over Usopp as everyone below watched him above. Wow, that was a mouthful there. You displayed an unusual ability. You must have the power of the devil fruit. Yes, Cloudor said. To which Luffy smiled, looking up and crunching his knuckles. That's right, dude. I ate the gum gum fruit because I am a gum gum man. Totally awesome, ain't it, guys? Pay attention, Luffy. You guys, the devil fruit! The pirate crew screamed out. That's trouble if there really is such a thing. Oh, I thought he seemed odd. To which Django raised his hand up with the chakram between his fingers. Gum gum man, eh? That stretching arm was no illusion then. Tee-hee! But I hit him with my chakram and he's still walking. How could that be? Chopper! Usopp collapsed on the ground with blood spilling out across the floor. Ugh! And Cloudor yelled down to Django below. Django! Hey! I'll kill the Gum Gum Man. You just deal with Miss Kaya. Force her to write the will as we planned, then kill her. Kaya became frozen in fear. The kids just stood there as Cloudor slowly turned in their direction. And those three nipping pups too. They're a nuisance. To which all three kids went, gulp. Aye, Captain. Jumbo, I'll make the kids climb the tree. Tee-hee. Stop, said Zolo, with his sword stretched out, blocking Django's route. Beyond this point, you shall not pass. Butchie, meow, meow. Deal with this Gandalf wannabe, Jumbo. Solo clenched his teeth ready. Catapult! Hurrah! He jumped in the air with his legs stretched out, ready to slam into the ground and create another crater. Solo looked up in horror. Oh, jeez, not that again. Catastrophe! Bucci slammed into the ground. He caused more than just an earthquake. He sent the entire earth shooting up into the air like a meteor strike. Solo flipped over all of the debris as everything flew into the air. Shards completely raining down onto the ground. Large chunks of boulders slowly rising up from the ground. Everyone within the radius was lifted up. Whoa! Usopp said as he flew. He broke the ground, the kid screamed out. That was worse than last time. Zolo gritted his teeth in horror as a weird slice across the rock caused it to collapse down onto the pirates below. Are you serious? It's falling down to the pirates below. The pirates screamed, "Ah!" And Luffy merely stood there, unimpressed. Doesn't know his own strength, Klahadore said, as Kaya's heart pounded with a thump at what she witnessed. "Wow!" Bucci screamed out as Zolo prepared with his sword drawn. "Wow, dude, what is with that guy?" Luffy screamed out. Zolo immediately took a defensive stance as Bucci's claws came swinging at him. They connected. Dust shot up into the air. The sound of a kabam caused the whole earth to shake. Blood splurted around, and Bucci pushed Zolo right into the rock, creating cracks in the wall. Zolo added to to his defensive posture with his foot pressed into Bucci's head. "You've already lost to me once, so stop pestering me." And Zolo pushed Bucci off of him with his foot. Bucci said as he rolled across the ground. Meanwhile, Usopp laying on the floor, gasping for air. "Oh, I'm too dizzy to stand up, but I gotta stop that guy. Oh man, I really stink." As Usopp struggled to get up, Bucci got back onto his feet, and Zolo stood there in shock. Uh-oh. All while Django slowly walked up the hill past everybody and making his way to Kaya. "Usopp's pirates!" Usopp yelled out, and the kids replied, "Aye, Captain, can't hurt." And Django looked at the kids. Raising their makeshift weapons, they yelled out, ready to charge at him. "We're warning you, we mean business. We won't run off while our captain needs us. We'll make you pay for hurting the captain." To which Usopp orders, "Protect Miss Kaya!" And the kids stood there in shock. Absolute silence. The weapons dropped. Kaya, surprised by what he said, "Usopp." Klahadore merely stared at everybody, just wondering what the heck is going on here. "I'm entrusting you men with the most important job of all," Usopp screamed out as he laid flat on the ground. "Get Kaya away from here safely. Don't let me down, man," he yelled out. "That's an order from your captain." To which the kids stood at attention and screamed out, "Aye, aye, Captain!" Django pulled out another chakra, and he aimed it at the kids. "Fools, tee, you can't escape me, Chamber." To which Zolo thought, he's got a quick tongue, that Usopp. He gave the boys and Kaya an honorable reason to run. And run they did, as the kids pulled Miss Kaya away and screamed out, "Hurry, Miss Kaya! Once we reach the trees, we're in our own backyard. Ah!" Django started twirling the chakrams in his fingers. "I won't let you escape into the trees. Oh no! Fly, little stars, jump on. Something struck Django in the back. It was Usopp in the distance, having had fired his slingshot. Django fell down to the ground with his thumbs up. Klahadore looked back, unimpressed. "Ah, that's what you get," Usopp said, gasping for air as he watched on with blood still pouring out of his head. "Little builder is red, owie." "Django, get up and follow them." Aye, aye. Django got up, feeling nursing the pain on his back, and started chasing them into the forest. "This way, Miss Kaya." Klahadore continued staring down at Luffy as Luffy made his way up the hill. It's useless. I, more than anyone, know how frail the girl's body is. They'll never escape Django, especially if they try to climb the trees. Run for help if you wish, but he knows how to build a treehouse. However, you'll have to get up this slope first. Uh, Clahador said, fixing his damaged glasses, and Bucci growled out at them. Usopp slowly worked his way up back to his feet. Curses! The tables have turned! Usopp, dude. Luffy said. And together, Luffy and Zolo told them, leave it to us. To be continued. One Piece, Chapter 35, by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece, by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 36. After them. Deep in the forest of trees, Usopp's little gang guides Kaya through the trail, hoping to lose Django, who was chasing after them. Behind us, do you see the hypnotist? The apple-haired kid said. Nope, let's lose him for good, Onionhead said. Nobody can catch us in these woods, the skull-headed bandana-haired boy said. Don't worry, Miss Kaya. You can count on us to protect you. Our honor is Usopp's pirate crew. Thank you, Kaya said, pressing her hand onto her chest as it pounded into her, as her heart pounded in pain. Usopp's pirates. And suddenly the trees collapsed before them with a shuakaka. Kaya screams out, gasp! The shot crumbs flew by, looking to de-res someone like Tron. Yikes! The kids scream out, what was that? And the chakrams returned to Django as he twirled them at the tip of his fingers. Ta-tom! Well, they're not here. Chapman! They should be climbing up the trees to blanket. Come out and play, you rotten brats. Pick your back, but you can't play. Girl, don't think you can escape me, little children. Everyone stood frozen in horror as they screamed out, it's him! He's not a typical traveling hypnotist after all. If I have to, I'll topple this whole forest and you won't have any trees to climb my blanket. I'll give it a nice buzz cut, Jimmin. Oh. That sound again echoed across the air, across the sky. It caught Usopp's attention. What was that? To which Claudor answered, it's probably Django. Finish off your friends. Go see for yourself, though you may be too late. Claudor stood above at the top of the hill waiting for someone to do something. Solo agreed and said, you'd better hurry to their aid, Usopp. If you can, Claudor said. With all his strength, Usopp stood up onto his feet and screamed out, why you? You lived in the same home with her for 3 years. Usopp struggled to catch his breath and hold steady on his feet. Don't you have an ounce of feeling for her? To which Claudor answered, not an ounce. As I said, Kyle is a pawn on a chessboard. I needed to further my plan so I could be queened and hit everyone from every angle. And when she dies, then I'll say my thanks. Solo replied, you unremarkable scoundrel. He clenched his sword tightly and his veins bulged. And as for Luffy, he snorted like a bull, ready to charge at him. Dude, who wants to redeem him? He's evil. He has no righteousness. To which Usopp screamed out, I'll never let slime like you win. And if I don't hurry, they'll all be killed, he thought. There's not a second to lose. Usopp took his first step up the hill, passing by Bucci. You can move, Claudor said. Impressive. Bucci. Roar! Bucci screamed out. I'll slice him to ribbons! He unfurled his claws when suddenly a sword came right at his neck, stopping him in his tracks. Out of my way, Zolo said. He immediately pushed Bucci back and used the momentum to flip him over. I'm in a hurry. He immediately landed right on top of Bucci and slowly leaned the edge of the blade onto his neck and kept Bucci in place. You've been a very bad kitty. Stay down and shut up, and I may let you live, he said with a smirk. Usopp collapsed. With his butt sticking up into the air, he struggled to get all the muscle mass to make his move. Usopp, dude. Why are you presenting yourself? No, it's not like that. It's just that my body, I can't move. You look ridiculous. Presenting yourself like that? Oh dear. But you're much safer on the ground like that. If only I had a camcorder. If you caught up with Django, he'd only kill you. Ha 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 ha. Usopp's veins bulged. Tears poured out of his eyes. Snot dripped down his nose. Blood gushing out of his brain. And all he could say was, "It doesn't matter. Gotta protect them. I gotta protect those kids." Cloudor said, gritting his teeth in anger. Solo said, Usopp. Luffy was ready to cry, manly tears. However, Bucci roared, "Rawr, swash!" And he swung at Solo, who blocked with his blade. "Oh," he said, as the sound of schwack connected between both attacks. Bucci managed to push Solo off and threw him across the slope, and he slammed him into the rock. Usopp, still with his buttocks sticking up high in presentation for all the world to see, screamed out, "I'm Captain Usopp, and they're my crew. I'm a brave warrior of the sea. I won't let you lay a finger on the villagers. As soon as I can get up and start walking again and not look like I'm gonna take it there." The pirates started laughing. Arr, look at him shouting threats with his rump in the air. Baby's crying. I think I want to have fun with him. And suddenly a giant boulder landed right on top of them, making them scream, "Whoa!" Luffy looked back at them and said, "Dudes, you laugh at Usopp again, and I'm gonna kill you with righteous punches." Ooh. Out. And all the pirates immediately went silent and said, "Go." Meanwhile, the Bucci and Zolo continued clashing blades. Solo had his third sword in his mouth.
"Kitty cat, I told you, never to get in my way again. You were warned."
Bucci said.
"Out of my way!"
And Solo delivered one easy slash right across the chest. Blood splurted out like a geyser. And Bucci collapsed onto the ground. Cloudor was unimpressed and merely fixed his glasses. Usopp continued watching on with his butt sticking out in presentation for all the world to see. And the pirates screamed out, "Ah!" But Bucci was hypnotized to be super strong. "Luffy, I'll carry Usopp and go after the hypnotist. Sometimes you gotta do things yourself." "Got a problem with that?" "Nah, dude. You go right on ahead. I'm about to have some fun. Dude, let's throw down." Cloudor was unimpressed with Luffy. "Sorry. I better make better time on my own. But they're in the woods. I'll never catch them without you to guide me. So, boy." Cloudor says, So, boy, who gave you permission to climb this slope? He prepared his blades. To which Luffy screamed out, I did, dude. And Claudor was in shock as Luffy flew in the air, anime style, throwing a punch. Claudor dodged like the Matrix and watched the fist connect with the tree. Solo ran off going huff, huff. As Luffy screamed out, run, dudes. Luffy prepared his next punch. Take this, butler. Haha. And he throws a second punch, to which Claudor further matrixed himself and dodged further down. Ooh. The wind howled with the sound of a warning. Another punch comes right at him. And suddenly, Claudor disappeared. Dude. He's like, Houdini'd me. Claudor stood right behind him with all 5 of his sword claws spread out. He delivers a swing, and Luffy pulls off a capoeira move, breakdancing his way out of danger. Oh. Luffy smiled, and he clapped his clapped his feet together. Swap, dude. Gum gum. Claudor was caught off guard. Spear. And Claudor disappeared again in a poof as Luffy's feet stretched outward. Man, that is awesome. That is awesome. As Luffy's legs stretched out, making his buttocks present himself to everybody, he said, Hey, he Houdini'd again. Luffy flipped up back onto his feet. Oh well, at least Solo got up the slope. And Claudor poofed right back from the side, watching him, staring back at him. The pirates down below screamed out, That kid's going at it with Captain Kuro! And with Luffy and Kuro staring at each other, the sound of ooh echoed across the sky again. Before we fight seriously, I have one question, Claudor said. Why are you, an outsider, sticking your neck out for this village? Good question, Luffy pondered. Well, 'cause there's someone in this village I don't want you to kill. Dude, Luffy smiled. Meanwhile, in the forest, Zolo's carrying Usopp, trying to find everybody. East, I said east. How do I know which way is east, you moron? Just say right or left. Okay then, about face right. Back the way we came? Are you dumb? Ah, how simple, Claudor said. Is it enough to die for? It's good enough for me, dude. Luffy pulled back his fist, ready to throw his next punch. But I'm not gonna get killed. No way, dude. I don't have the Dragon Balls with me. Meanwhile, back in the forest, trees completely collapsed down onto the ground. And Django planted his hands onto his ears, listening out. Now, where did they run to, Gemman? Herf, herf, herf. Miss Kaya! Miss Kaya completely collapsed on the ground, clasping onto her chest. She leaned onto the tree, trying to gain her breath, resisting the pain that she's feeling from Claudor's poisoning. I'm sorry, boys. You go on. What? It's our duty to protect you, one of the kids said. Oh no, she's burning up. She's sweating hard. Somebody get some Xanax. That won't work. Take it easy, Miss Kaya. She needs a doctor. I'm a doctor. No, you're not a doctor. Well, there's no time, Danny. Our lives are in danger, but she can't run anymore. At a time like this, Usopp's pirate's crew must be prepared. We'll fight that dumb hunt. Whoa! So here you are, and you're not climbing the trees. That's good. To be continued. One Piece. Chapter 36 by Eiichiro Oda. Oh man, this fight is not stopping. If you want my honest opinion, because I know I shouldn't be comparing with the live action, given that I've seen the live action, but to make the comparison, really, I'm glad they cut the kids out. I'm glad they cut the kids out. This is padding, and this is truly. I'm hoping that later down the series, Eiichiro Oda um, stop with the padding and just centralize it, focused and refined these fights, because this is getting a little tedious at this point. I mean, I know it's it's a shonen, it's targeting to the young male demographic, but I don't think these kids were really that necessary. There was plenty enough. There's plenty enough going on that didn't need the kids. Miss Kaya being there, it makes sense. It makes total sense for her to be there, quite honestly. But the kids, nah, I just don't see that. Quite honestly, I don't think that's really necessary. To have these kids at all in this sequence. Uh, they're gonna be they're just in the way. Quite honestly, they're just in the way at this point. There's no need. Let's see. Let's check out some of the art here, because there was some nice moments here, some nice scenes. Let's like for instance here. This is a good. He tried hard. He tried hard. He got the rock down here that was originally knocked down, and the bow staff. Is it bow staff? I forgot the name of it. But yeah, it's a very nice setup here with the arrival of Kaya and everybody. Well, whoever he could draw looking up and everything. It was a pretty nice setup. It was surprising that she would take the initiative like that, especially when she decided to go for the gun, right here. And yeah, to me, this makes perfect sense for her to show up and everything. Very well detailed on the gun here. A little too detailed on the gun here. But it's pretty sad how we see Clahador for real, his true self, and really breaking her heart, because she really thought she had she was in the presence of a nice person overall. But funny moment with Clahador just staring out at the sky after getting punched by Luffy. I gotta say though, being for how many number of chapters we've been in this one location is crazy, and the fact that Eiichiro Oda, to his credit, was able to redraw this same scene over and over again. You know what I'm saying? This same scenery and keeping it consistent for the most part is really, really impressive. He hasn't lost track of where any of the characters are in relation to where they've been at. Kai is still at this same spot. The pirates are still over here at the bottom right. Zolo is still midway up with Django and Bucci side by side. Even right here on the left side of this panel, if you're able to see Bucci's brother right here, even though he's covered by this entire speech bubble, he's still where he's at. And that's actually really impressive, quite honestly. And the fact that Eiichiro Oda has been doing that for so many chapters with this battle, this is just 3 chapters for the most part. But there was more chapters before that. But nevertheless, big credit, big credit that he was able to keep all of this consistent and not let anything screw up. You know what I'm saying? Not create any continuity errors. But yeah, again, these kids just not necessary. They're not necessary. But yeah, the characterization is very shonen. You know what I'm saying? Very shonen demographic. You know what I'm saying? Usopp not wanting to give up, which is the motif, the show's motif, where everyone is pursuing their dreams, never giving up. Very typical of shonen. You know what I'm saying? I won't give up. I will never get up. And then we got, and now we got introduced to Django's true weaponry, which is the chakrams, which apparently are the ones that's making the ooh sound. He throws a pair of those, very, very Tron-like, very Tron-like. So, nevertheless, Let's see here. But once again, the padding, the unnecessary padding in this, because now we end up spending a handful of panels with Usopp having his butt sticking up in the air. Uh, Honestly, pacing is clearly early One Piece, shonen pacing. This is shonen pacing. That's the best way I could describe this. This is shonen pacing, which likes to drag things out for a little too long, and I feel like this needed to wrap up. Honestly, uh, but I guess I could try and understand that, given back in the '90s, you know what I'm saying. I guess Oda had to like meet certain demands probably from his editors and such. I'm not sure what the whole deal is, but honestly, this is padding, and I'm hoping that the pacing improved along the way, because this is really awesome. But you know, now we finally get back to Bucci and Zolo. I felt this should have ended a long time ago. This shouldn't have gone on as long as it did, and that's uh yeah, it's a slog. And finally now we end up getting finally get to Luffy versus Kuro, which again should have been going on a couple of chapters ago. Should have This shouldn't have been this long, honestly. And gosh, let me tell you something. This is actually pretty good. The art here of Luffy throwing this punch. This is actually pretty good. Very well done, honestly. Him punching the wall there. Oh, that was a wall. I thought that was a tree. No, that is a tree. But look how he conveyed the stretch and the distance, especially in relation to uh, Zolo carrying Usopp. So yeah, I like this panel. I really do like this panel. This is very good. This is a very good panel, honestly. I like that. I like that. This really conveys multiple actions happening at once. Um, I like that. I like that. So overall, the fight, while fun, is dragging a little too long, and would be nice if this wraps up now. That's all. That's all it is. But the fight is still good. I mean, the fight is still good. The punches, very impactful. The sword slicing. But let's be done. Let's be done with this. All right. So yeah, that's it. That was One Piece. Chapters 34 through 36. I can't wait for the next set. So make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and follow. You know you want to. And share your thoughts on what you think of these 3 chapters, the characters, everything One Piece so far. Do you think the pacing, there's a pacing issue right now in early One Piece? Have you been feeling that, especially when you originally read that? Find that out. And make sure to swing on over to Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Get yourself a copy of The Impossible Man, a fantasy comedy novel that I've written and is available at those 2 online stores. And if you're interested, you can hit me up over on my live multi-stream at Twitch and Kick on Thursday. Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in watching me rewrite my latest story, Trucker no Boken, for Shosetsu, if you're interested in learning how to write, see how I write and all that stuff, consider that behind the scenes stuff. Just swing on over. And finally, if you're interested, if you're interested in wanting to support this channel further, you can head on over to my Patreon, and if you're interested in participating, you can find all the links down below for everything I said. So thank you all for joining me, and until the next set, I wish you all a good night, buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.